Right, good morning, we're out again on a ride. It's much clearer today, and that's the first time I've ever seen Shavers End Quarry from this location, because the county buildings were always in the way. That view hasn't been seen for probably 200 years. Not that the county buildings were that old, but because of the Baldwin steel foundry that was there before it, and the terraces that were along here. So, interesting sight to see. We're off today to Stourport Basin first. So well, that'll be interesting, so I've not been there for a while. There's the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal over there. Sign there for the basin. So So we'll start here. Stourport Basin from 1769. This part, incidentally, used to be a much nicer pulling area. There were no cars allowed, and there were 3 mature trees. And then this was all redone nearly 20 years ago now, when the bridge was built and these houses were built. The plaque says 2006 when the bridge was finished. So we'll go up to slightly higher ground. This basin is much smaller than the original, and for some unknown reason it's never had boats allowed in it. No idea why, but boats have never been permitted in. And there used to be a terrapin that used to live on that log. And then looking over, here, this is the oldest part. big boat over there, I'm not sure what that is. And this is also the location of the first photograph I ever took, roughly, pointing to the old clock tower, whose clock is, actually it's telling the right time, it's 10 to 10. So we'll head down now. That's looking over towards the old Worth's carpet factory, past the Tontine, the Windlass Cafe, and you come down the road, Mark Lane this is, and then you come to a place called Severnside and down to the River Severn. So you've got a wide beam lock, 2 wide beam locks to get into the basin, and 2 narrow beam locks as well further along. And you can see the storm damage from the recent big storm about 2 or 3 weeks ago. There's the Tontine Hotel. Now multiple flats. And then head over here. Nice place to wander around, and you can see the rowing club over there. So this is more or less the limit of navigation for any large craft. And you can see there's a picture here of what the basins would have looked like in 1776. Narrowboat coffee shop there, and then Bramble is a restored traditional barge. Now the River King's in dry dock. That's Playland Fair, that's been there for many decades. I've lived in the town all my life and I've never been in. Behind that there's another basin, the Engine Basin. That's direct access from the river. I'm sure it's called Engine Basin, I do forget. Just come over the swing bridge. You can see this is about as far up as these larger boats go. There are no locks after Lincoln down there, as far as I recall. Although it used to be navigable, I think beyond Shrewsbury with the Severn Trows. but not anymore, as the water trades was superseded by the railway. I can remember back before all this was done up, they say they had a big revamp nearly 20 years ago and done all the tarmacking, redid all the paths and pointed all the stones, and this paving was always here, but they redid that, made it better. So there's the wharf. Cafe, pub, restaurant, live music place. You can't see the bridge, it's just there. That's the third iteration of the bridge, if I remember correctly. People jump off it in the summer. There we go, 10 o'clock. So we're back round to the top basin now, and I was saying something about the bridge. I say people jump off it in the summer and swim in the river, but what they don't know is that the piers for the old bridge are underneath, under the water, so it is quite a dangerous thing to do. So don't jump off bridges, even if the water does look very nice. Because the amount of, there's been a few people killed around here getting in the water, riding bicycles over the lock gates and falling into the lock and drowning and stuff like that. So yeah, don't do stupid things like that. I rode over the bridge in the previous video actually, so you'll see that. And I'm sure I've got a memory of my dad in the outfit riding past these windows, because they've had the blue blinds for as long as I've been alive. So around the back of the Tom sign now. I remember them doing all this up. Yeah, they fetch quite a price now. So we'll leave the basin and head out along the main road past the old power station location. I'll show you that. So back over the Mark Lane Bridge. This used to be miles when I was a child on the bicycle. It's actually just 1 mile, all that walking round. So we'll turn right here. Down Lichfield Street. There you go, timber. That was what that basin was filled in for, because it was more profitable as a timber yard. Morris Minor 1000 there. So this comes out. at the Royal British Legion. There's Tesco now. All of this was the carpets at Bondworth factory. And we'll have a quick look down here as well. This is quite interesting because this here is a listed building. This is called Cheapside, this is. It's listed because these are some of the oldest buildings in the town, if perhaps not the oldest. We'll have a look here. That's the former Vinegar Works factory. They're definitely Georgian. Scaffolding's up, so they're doing something to them always. This is the former TP Toys factory. Had a lot of garden toys from here. I don't know what it is now. You can see the former sign and the rather amusing fir tree that's grown up. This wall is an original boundary wall for the basin. So you had basin this side and carpets of Worth there, which extended all the way along this road. Not down here, but well, up to about there, and it went around. That takes you up to the windlass, and then down here the former Vinegar Works. You can see the remains of the old terrace gable end. All this, so these are all terrace houses for the workmen families. You can see the gable end there behind the lorries. That's all new. I don't know what D-Zine is, but this was all TP Toys, this was. And then Mum worked at TP Toys and at Bondworth. And then, well, they've cleaned this out because all this was overgrown. You couldn't get down here very well. So, all Vinegar Works. I'll leave the Ridley here a second, because you can see TP Activity Toys factory shop. There's the bridge. It's not the best photograph, but and then there's another I'll show you down here where the name Stourport comes from. It's just the confluence of the River Stour down here, so I'll show you that. So this is the bridge over the River Stour, and this is where the town Stourport gets its name. So it's a port on the Stour on the River Severn. I'll put on the screen where the River Stour has its source, because I can't remember off the top of my head. Down there is a swan, looking rather nice. There used to be, you can see the remains of it, a steel wall up here, which used to direct the flow of the Stour into the flow of the Severn, so to avoid turbulence for the boats, because all of this estate here on this raised patch of ground, this used to be Stourport-on-Severn power station, steam fired power station, but it had no cooling towers because it was able to get its cooling water directly from the river. And it closed in the 70s/80s and was demolished then. You can see the old Vinegar Works factory, and then there's that Deasine company. I'll look at what that is. Down there to Lincoln Lock and on to Worcester. So that's the view of the old power station. I'll find some pictures on the internet. River Stour there. So we'll head up. Up the road this way to see where it was from the other angle. So there's a lot of its industry has been lost, and a lot of employment. Factories come and go quite quickly sometimes. So back to Cheapside. And you can see where the terrace used to be. Bondworth closed around 2000, I think. So all these houses here, 2006. These are in the last 2 or 3 years, these houses are. So all of this was a Bondworth factory, and they knocked down some of the original factory buildings that were early Victorian, which they shouldn't have done. I think this is a cycle lane, but it might just be a pavement. But anyway, this is the River Stour. It's the power station estate. That's where I was just previously. An abandoned Tesco trolley that cut through over to Tesco. You can see they're building those still. They've not finished. So yeah, all of this road was never here. It was only a road up to the estate. And when they finally got round to building Tesco's, they put the bridge in, and the bridge goes all the way back up there. So you can see just over there, there's the former railway siding, which before the estate was built, this used to be the railway embankment. So imagine the height of that bridge, the land up at this level, which was all dug away, and they put the railway in. They took the railway out that went to the power station. That railway joins up with the old Hartlebury to Stourport branch line, electric folding bikes, I think. I wouldn't like to ride those on some of the roads around here. But that railway line went up, as I say, to the Stourport, sorry, to the Hartlebury to Bewdley, Kidderminster branch, and then all that was taken out when the power station shut, and then the branch was lost when the branch, where was it? Kidderminster up to Shrewsbury line, that was the beaching cut, and then it all went properly in the 80s, 90s. And Leapgate's now like a country park. That's interesting. Anyway, we're going to be turning right at the end of this road up to Titton Lane, so, and then off to a site that's personal to me and another historic place of interest. So then, lovely view over the road over the Severn Valley, I mean, up towards the Shaver's End there, looking over towards Aberley Hill and Woodbury Hill. The tour of the basins took up quite a bit of video actually, so I'll say that what I'm off to now is I'm off to visit the tree, and I'm also off to visit one of the locations painted by A.R. Quinton, who was a watercolour artist, mostly famous for postcards. So I'll see if I can find the house he painted over 100 years ago. I'm guessing over 100 years ago, close to 100 years ago anyway.